Today we will be learning about Stephen Skyvington's article, "The War on Cancer, like the one on drugs, has failed us." In this article, Stephen is very opinionated and has a number of arguments. First, you must understand what an argument is.
An argument is a set of premises advanced in support of a conclusion.
There are two types of arguments, inductive and deductive.
An inductive argument is one which intends to provide probable yet inconclusive support for the conclusion using the available evidence. A deductive argument is one which begins with a proposition and provides conclusive support.
Based on the argument structure of a deductive argument, you can determine whether it is valid or invalid.
An argument is valid if, and only if, there is no logically possible situation in which all of its premises are true and its conclusions are false. An argument is invalid if there is no logical connection between the premises and the conclusion.
A valid argument with true premises is sound, and a sound argument is a good argument. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, we can talk about Stephen's arguments. In the article, he speaks about cancer from a personal perspective. He says he has lost his father and brother to cancer. This emotional connection to the topic causes him to have a biased slant with the use of tone and diction. If somebody is biased, it means they are in favor or are prejudiced towards something. In this case, Stephen Skyvington is emotionally biased, meaning he is strongly opinionated on the topic and only considers his point of view. Let's recap some of the things he said in the article. Stephen Skyvington made 3 unsupported claims. Big Pharma is withholding the cure for cancer. Stephen believes cancer is a business. People spend lots of money trying to cure themselves, which makes a lot of money for the medical industry. If they were to release the cure, they would not receive as much money as they would from continuous treatment, and so they continue to remain silent. In his opinion, people should be looking to prevent cancer rather than cure it. Stephen isn't the only one talking about Big Pharma. It's a known conspiracy theory in which the medical industry and pharmaceutical companies operate for corrupt purposes against the public good. People do not die from cancer. Without much evidence at all, he insists that people die from the complications of cancer such as radiation, chemo, or surgery as their immune systems break down. He states that according to the one survey he researched, 75% of doctors say they would refuse chemotherapy because of its devastating side effects and the fact that it actually doesn't target most cancers. The government wants you to get cancer, but why would they want that? Stephen Skyvington is convinced that the government benefits so heavily from the taxes on cigarettes that they don't want you to stop smoking. Hence the ban of e-cigarettes in the UK and Ontario. If people keep smoking, the government continues to make money, especially if those smokers develop a cancer of any sort. If smoking is such a profitable engagement, why would the government ever want to ban it? As mentioned earlier, these arguments are deductive, meaning he has stated his argument, giving his evidence. However, the deductive argument is invalid as he really did not give us much proof. His arguments came to false conclusions without any logical evidence or credible sources. We were also assigned a rebuttal reading by Steve Buist called "Setting the Record Straight on the War Against Cancer." Setting the record straight, I guess we know off the bat that he doesn't agree. In this article, Steve says he doesn't agree with or believe what Stephen said. He says he believes in evidence-based journalism, yet his article doesn't provide much evidence at all. He calls Stephen's article irresponsible and bordering on dangerous. With words like absurd and tackle, Steve uses his bias to sway the audience's opinion and convince them that Stephen Skyvington was entirely wrong.
He rebuts 2 of Skyvington's arguments.
There is no cure for cancer. Big Pharma is not sitting on anything. If there was, they would release it because it would make money. He states that there must be a cure for cancer and suggests asking the survivors of these cancers, especially of testicular cancer, which has a 97% survival rate, prostate cancer with a 96% survival rate, and breast cancer with a 90% survival rate. However, similarly to Skyvington's article, we are given no sources for these statistics. People do die from cancer. He says, people do die from cancer, too many people. All the more reason why the war on cancer must continue. Another unsupported claim. Is this the same man who believes in evidence-based journalism? At the end of Steve's article, he states his credentials as the best cancer reporter in a worldwide competition sponsored by the European School of Oncology. This and the fact that he has written several series on cancer may cause the reader to believe that what he is saying is more reliable than what Stephen said. However, with a lack of evidence and credible sources, we have reason to doubt both arguments. Before fully believing a claim, we must always do our research. So what did we learn today? You can't always believe everything you are told. Ask yourself these questions the next time you're trying to determine whether an argument is valid or invalid. Does the argument seem logical, even if the premises are true? Is one or more of the premises false? Is the logic rational? Remember, if a valid argument has a false conclusion, there has to be something wrong with the premises. If you can spot an invalid or illogical argument, it is probably a bad argument. Nice work, everyone! Thanks for listening!